Investigate his claims. Examine the evidence. Make your decision.
Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, is one of the oldest cities in the world. Jews from all over the globe come to pray here, at the Western Wall. Sometimes it is referred to as the Wailing Wall, because the Jews weep over the destruction of their temple and long for their place of worship to be rebuilt. The temple in Jesus' time was destroyed by the Romans in AD 70. Today, on the other side of the wall, there has been a Muslim shrine built called the Dome of the Rock, which stands upon the ruins of the temple. As was custom, Jesus made his way to the temple. Many Jews would journey to Jerusalem at this time of year for the Passover celebration.
It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration, so Jesus went to Jerusalem. In the temple area, he saw merchants selling cattle, sheep, and doves for sacrifices. He also saw dealers at tables exchanging foreign money. Jesus made a whip from some ropes and chased them all out of the temple. He drove out the sheep and cattle, scattered the money changers' coins over the floor, and turned over their tables. Then going over to the people who sold doves, he told them,
"Get these things out of here! Stop turning my father's house into a marketplace."
Then his disciples remembered this prophecy from the scriptures. "Passion for God's house will consume me." But the Jewish leaders demanded,
"What are you doing? If God gave you authority to do this, show us a miraculous sign to prove it."
"All right,"
Jesus replied,
"destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up."
What?
They exclaimed.
It has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you can rebuild it in 3 days.
But when Jesus said this temple, he meant his own body. After he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered he had said this, and they believed both the scriptures and what Jesus had said.
Now we know that Jesus was referring to his own body. This was going to be the greatest sign that would prove that Jesus is God. He was going to come back to life. For generations, the Jews have celebrated this feast to remember what God had done for their ancestors thousands of years before. God chose a man called Moses to set the Israelites free from slavery in Egypt. The Pharaoh was not willing to let the Israelites go, so God sent 9 plagues upon the Egyptian people. The water was turned to blood. Frogs. Lice. Flies. The livestock died. Boils. Hail. Locusts. Darkness. Despite these judgments, the Pharaoh was stubborn and still refused to let the people go. So God sent one last plague. At midnight on the 15th day of the Jewish month of Nisan, God said that he would strike dead every firstborn son in the land of Egypt. But to Moses, God provided detailed instructions so that his people would be spared from this terrible plague. Each family was to take a 1-year-old male lamb. It had to be perfect. On the 14th day, they had to kill the lamb and smear its blood on the lintel and doorframe of their home. Then they were to go inside, shut the door, and have a roast lamb meal. At midnight, when the angel of death came through Egypt, he would not enter the homes covered by the blood of the lamb. He would pass over. That night there was loud wailing heard throughout Egypt. The Pharaoh let the Israelites go. Later on we'll discover that someone has died in our place, so that judgment for our sins would pass over from us to him. Like the lamb chosen by the Israelites, this person would be male, he would die in the prime of life, and he would be absolutely perfect.